We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
There's a need for a new world order, but it has different characteristics in different parts of the world.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order.
A world in which there is the very real prospect of a new world order.
It's about the future of Europe and a new world order.
After 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
And the hope that each of us has to build a new world order.
The pieces are in flux. Soon they will settle again. Before they do, let us reorder this world around us.
So that the problem of the Bush presidency will be the emergence of a new international order.
Within the next 4 years, we will see the emergence of a new international order.
The beginning of a new international order.
But today, with Asia already outproducing Europe, India and China are clearly becoming part of our new order.
So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, a new world is emerging. It is a new world order with significantly different and radically new challenges.
I think his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't just a crisis.
That this crisis.
Greetings upon greetings upon greetings.
Greetings, everybody. Greetings.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to another Friday with Dievan Simone on A Better Tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
Guy, a lot's been happening.
I know.
Hence the title, This is What Was Happening. No, that's not the title. I always mess it up. Hold on. Okay, hold on. It was, while we were focused on the elections, this happened. That's the title of our show today. And you know what, everyone? I really want to thank, again, people out there who are willing to open their minds to something different and something new and not just be watching, the regular CNN. Now, mind you, for those who do watch CNN and those other shows, I understand completely why you do. But we're here to offer something a little bit different.
That's right.
We're here to offer something that you're not going to see. And we're going to give you guys some insights and give you more of a... instead of just a left, because they like to do this whole, we'll do what they do, the dichotomy. So the left, right, they're very left, and we're going very right. So there's that talk. So I just want you guys to understand something. This whole idea of New World Order. Now, Dave, when you hear, when you were younger, even when you were just maybe even 10 years ago, when you heard that, what's usually attached to that word, New World, or the phrase New World Order?
It's a plan.
But did you always... I feel like people are like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory.
Well, some.
I feel that some just go directly. They're like, yeah, New World Order, really? Illuminati, really? They do all of that,
Very true.
But as you can see from the video just that we just played, that was from the 80s, 70s, 80s, I would say. The one with George Bush.
With George Bush, yeah.
And then Biden made an appearance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
While you guys are paying to the elections, paying attention to the election, paying attention to the elections.
Oh yeah.
This stuff was happening.
He's definitely going on a rampage.
Yeah. So you know what? I wanted to just do a little brief overview. This is just New World Order 101 because I feel that maybe we really need to talk about it in some depth, not too much depth, but just enough to give you guys something to look into the fact that this is something that's not a new concept. It's not a new ideology. This has been around for years, and they've been pushing for this. They've been planning for this for a long time. So what does New World Order mean, and what does it refer to? It refers to the idea that many crises are manufactured by powerful groups of people in order to justify a more heightened national security state. While some might view this as an unfounded and, like I said, conspiracy theory, a more nuanced approach is necessary. Many world leaders have spoken about a new world order. That is nothing new, as well as our very own. But we're going to get there in a second. On multiple occasions, pointing to greater global collaboration, control, and surveillance to pull it all off. It's an agenda of greater centralized power for those already in great positions of unelected power. Remember, with this whole idea of New World Order, there's the puppets, which are the presidents and the prime ministers. And those are all the people that are the front men. It's just like they're the greatest drug dealing cartel in the world. Like,
yes.
Literally.
Yeah, very much.
You never know who the head guy is. Like, if we think that the prime minister is the head guy, no, that's just like the foot soldier. That's what you are, right? So they put these front men out for us to see. So Trudeau, I think they have a, do we have that there? Can we throw that up? Yeah, here we go. So they need to keep a heightened national security state in our current times includes, of course, it has to include more surveillance and data acquisition, contact tracing, using more methods for tracking the general population, their actions, intentions, and even their currency. Okay, there's some shifts happening right now, and you guys are going to start seeing it slowly. Again, this is no conspiracy theory. Remember Edward Snowden?
Yes.
Okay, so he made it quite clear that the NSA was tracking U.S. citizens all along, illegally, without their permission, and even when they denied it under oath. This is why this man had to bounce and go into exile, because he let go all of their business, because he was like, this is not right. So a name that comes up a lot, Mr. George Soros. So the justification used to bring about this new world are often continuous threats such as, get these, climate change, disease outbreaks, what we're experiencing with like COVID, pandemics, terrorism, and measures taken against these things are marketed as necessary for our protection and our well-being. As a result of this marketing done by, of course, fabulously mainstream media, we are slowly being conditioned to view freedom as selfish and harmful to others. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can. I was in a grocery store yesterday, and I realized that our freedoms are slowly dissipating.
Tell me the story. Tell the story, Dave.
I explained to the cash out lady that I couldn't wear a mask for medical reasons. She said, listen, we're not taking anybody, I'm not serving anybody who can't wear a mask. I said, all right, no problem, but you can't refuse not to cash me out. Your business cannot refuse to cash me out. Go call somebody, please.
Good for you, Regin. Did you cash out?
Well, yeah, I did.
Oh, you came up with the stuff.
I came up with stuff, right?
I guess you did cash out.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like that. Yeah, they're doing it like that now. They're taking it there.
Yeah, man.
Freedom is not free. Lovely quote by a certain prime minister in Jamaica. When it comes to the coronavirus, for example, multiple renowned medical doctors and professors from around the world continually relay their strong opinions that we are dealing with something far less dangerous than they're making it out to be. And it perhaps is on par with like a flu. That's what they're saying. This is on par with the flu. A lot of doctors are just like, why are they blowing this so out of proportion, right? There's a pandemic every year. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Every year there's a pandemic. So why is this one so blown out of proportion, right?
Especially when the flu kills more people.
The flu kills more people, guys. They've done such a great job marketing COVID-19. Like, their marketers are on point. It's incredible. So 45,000 doctors and scientists have signed the Great Barrington Declaration. We just had that up, strongly opposing lockdown measures, and some of the most reputable scientists in the field have been sharing the same information while being completely ignored, censored, and fact-checked. So doctors who have, years of knowledge in this, studied it their lives, are being fact-checked and saying that they're wrong. I don't know how that's happening, right?
By bots.
Yes.
By bots.
So not to oversimplify, but around 50% of Americans believe those who voted for Donald Trump are dumb and perhaps maybe racist. The other half who voted for Trump feels the other side is evil and that they're stealing the election. This is all happening, mind you, when this whole distraction was happening, okay? Faith in institutions are crumbling, and there's good reason for this, everybody. They've basically done all of this to keep us, numb. I was talking to someone I talked about the whole idea of them even introducing marijuana and legalizing it now. Just another way to just kind of keep a lot of people, sedated while all this is happening. It's brilliant. Well done. Guys, there's something coming, and we need to be aware of it. Another big player in this is China, and a lot of people don't understand the role that they're playing in this. It's a magnificent role. Listen, they've basically implemented all of the changes that we're going to be seeing. It's been already done. It's been tested, tried, and true over there.
The social credits,
all of that, the surveillance, contact tracing, it all's been happening there first. And a lot of these countries are taking their advice from the Chinese, guys. This is what's happening. I look it up yourself. I'm just reporting it. I'm not making up the news. This is what's out there, and they put it out there for those who read and for those who don't read, but it's there. So that's just the beginning. When we come back, we're going to dive into some more things. Nigerians are getting access. Yeah, thank you. We'll leave that up there while we're talking. So the Nigerians have access to water now, but more access to clean water.
It's an ongoing situation, especially with the spread of this COVID-19 coronavirus business. If you don't have access to water, it makes things a lot more deadlier.
It does. And also Apple, and I want you guys to hear these names, Apple, Tesla, and other U.S. tech giants are being sued over child labor deaths at a cobalt mine in Congo, cobalt mines in Congo.
Yeah, your vibranium. That's the vibranium right there.
So, oh yeah, you mean for Black Panther?
Cobalt.
So for all us Apple users, yeah, that's all child labor, people. Sorry to be telling you guys this, but we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back on A Better Tomorrow. See you guys soon.
Quote, we have seen the deep state organize itself well in advance to carry out the most colossal electoral fraud in history in order to ensure the defeat of the man who has strenuously opposed the establishment of the New World Order that is wanted by the children of darkness.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for taking your
Good
Friday.
to be here. The first thing every totalitarian regime does, along with confiscation and mutilation of reality, is confiscation of history and confiscation of culture.
So, how is the lack of clean water affecting the efforts to curb the spread of the coronavirus? Just Nigeria's Ojoko Ulotse tells us more.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find really good, no, perfect words that make your writing sharp, or explicit, or excellent, or distinctive. As a matter of fact, for what it's worth,
water for you, it costs pass as rent for you. And that water, we not get good water for this area at all. We not get good water.
This is a common situation in most communities in Nigeria. The search for clean water seems endless. So many people are forced to share the limited and unclean alternative. Zokutu is a community in Kuje Area Council and the nation's capital. It's home to more than 3,000 people. Here, the struggle for water is real. Residents are forced to navigate these slopey rocks to this stream, their only source of water. Rose Mishai lives here. She describes the daily agony of traveling long distances and risking her life for every drop.
We don't have pipe-borne water.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for taking
so that we can wash our hands and bathe our children.
Good to be here.
The first
technical difficulty.
We're back. First and foremost, I want to say a happy birthday.
Yeah.
To the man behind the boards.
Happy birthday, Grant Browning.
Yes.
It's the only reason we're allowing whatever the hell that was to happen, okay? We appreciate you. We love you, man. But wow, guy, were you drinking? Jeez. All right, what's going on? Well, I don't know. First of all, do you even know what you're talking about anymore?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about some water.
Thank you to Gist Nigeria for go ahead and actually doing this special run there regarding the situation that's been happening out there.
Yes.
Of course, with a lot of the remote towns, shanty towns, a lot of the, rural areas, no access to clean water, right, which is very deadly. I mean, we see the situations happening here, especially with on the reserves, how no access to clean water can do to a society, right? So, Mr. Suleiman Adamu, Minister of Water Resources, has said that an additional 9 million Nigerians now have access to portable water, right?
Potable?
Potable.
Sorry. That was
potable, portable.
Sorry.
At the same time, right? He stated that at the official launch of the 2019 Water Supply, Sanitation, and Hygiene National Outcome Routing Mapping, or WASH-norm,
cool.
This past Tuesday in Abuja. Right, the percentage of the population with access to basic water supply services has steadily increased from 68% in 2018 to now 70% as of last year. Right, the minister explained that the WASH-norm survey, however, showed a decrease in access to hygiene services between, of course, the same years. Adamu said that the WASH-norm was an annual survey that examined the status of water supply, sanitation, and hygiene services across the country. He added that the survey was born out of the need for comprehensive data on the challenges that still remain to sustain, of course, the commitments on the national level. Right, Mrs. Didi Walson-Jack, a permanent secretary, Ministry of Water Resources, in her remarks said that progress over the past decade showed that the targets for WASH were not adequately tracked due to, of course, the poor data keeping, right, which subsequently hinders appropriate planning, execution of policies and programs. However, though, Mr. Benson Ajisagiri, speaking on behalf of the permanent secretary, said the SDGs, or the Sorry, that's New World Order stuff, right? This SDGs, the service delivery goals, presented that most ambitious targets for water supply, sanitation, and hygiene, as water is inextricably linked to many other sustainable development outcomes. So, I mean, like we said, with the emphasis, of course, I'm going to go ahead and repeat, right, of course, continuously washing your hands, making sure clean hygiene is a must, right? It is needed, definitely in this day and age that, of course, everybody have access to water.
Do you know there's people in Ontario that don't have access to clean water?
Yeah, we're a first world country. And
there's people right here, First Nations, don't have access to clean water.
It happens.
It's very weird. So weird. So just before you got off break, you said we have to cover up our...
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah, that will no longer. Yeah. So Apple, Tesla, and there's some other U.S. techs that are now being sued over child labor deaths at a cobalt mine in the Congo. So a civil lawsuit has been filed in a federal court in Washington, D.C. against Apple, Google's parent company, Alphabet, Tesla, Microsoft, and Dell. Lord. Well, of course, they all use the same things in their computers, in their machines, yeah. They are accused of exploiting child labor in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of 5 children who were killed and 11 who were injured working in the mines of the DRC. They were aged between 13 and 17 years old when these incidents happened. So the companies were part of a system of forced labor that allegedly led to the death and serious injury of these children. Now, this is what the complaint is saying. Images in the filed court documents showed children with disfigured or missing limbs from working inside these mines. So 6 of the 14 children in the case were killed in tunnel collapses, and the others suffered life-altering injuries, including paralysis. So child miners work for $2 to $3 a day, and under Stone Age conditions for paltry wages and immense personal risk. That's what this lawsuit had stated. It also alleged that the U.S. tech giants know and have known for a significant amount of time that child workers are used in the dangerous mines where the cobalt is produced and mined, and it actually originates. So these companies, and this is from the lawsuit again, the richest companies in the world, these fancy gadget-making companies, have allowed children to be maimed and killed to get their cheap cobalt. This is Terrence Collingsworth, an attorney representing the families, and this is what he said to the Reuters Foundation. So more than half of the world's cobalt, and I want to make sure we understand this, is produced in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I keep saying Dominican, I don't know why. It just looks like it, I think. The mineral is an essential part of lithium batteries, which are used in almost all computer products. See, so I want to talk about that in a second. So global demand for cobalt is expected to increase at 7% to 13% annually over the next decade. More than 40 million people have been estimated to be captive in modern slavery, which includes forced labor and forced marriage. Now, this is all information, again, thanks to Walk Free and the International Labor Organization. So basically, the only way to stop some of this hardship that's happening in Africa is to restrict, or how about taper, the use of electronic devices here in the States. Yes, or in the Americas.
You see, the problem comes down to those who actually are doing the enslaving. Because remember, they're only going over there with the money, right? Okay. So they're giving the money to somebody so they can go ahead.
So they can find these people.
It's no different in regards to when, of course, when slavery happened.
That's why they called it modern day.
They go to tribes. Tribal chiefs say, okay, no problem. You brought us some goods. We'll go ahead and capture some people for you. There's a mentality that has to change there, right? And until it does change, we're going to continue to see stuff like this happen.
So it really doesn't then. Is there anything, again, that we can do here? Because I read an article not too long ago speaking about the fact that we have an increasing amount of electronic waste. meaning that there's people sitting with like all those old DVDs, like just a whole bunch of waste. And we go through products. An average phone or computer lasts 2.5 years.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
Some of us still have the TV from back in the days. You know that big one that was that you couldn't move, and like that moving that was like hell. It was heavy as hell. There's some people, those still exist, you know, and some of them still work. How do these things break down in 2.5 years if they're supposed to be new and novel and modern and up to date?
It's not a fact that they're breaking down in 2.5 years. It's the fact that it's the life cycle of the marketing which takes place, right?
Yes,
our
I know
society is built on speed.
Yes.
Right? Oh, I need this now, right now. If it's not happening right now, I'm going to go somewhere else to get it, right? And that's exactly what's happening, especially with these products. You know, these products are coming out at lightning speed. By the time one comes out, 6 months later,
something new out.
Exactly. Right? Do we need it? Of course not. But
we're going to buy it.
Want
We're consumers and we're consuming.
And that's the whole thing, right? The mentality has to change. And
Yeah.
until it does, we're going to continue to see stuff like this. You know, this is why last week when we did the show, especially regarding the whole economics, right, and how they've been under developing Africa, right? The Africans over there, they have to come up with a new mentality. After that, they have to start overthrowing some governments.
Right.
You know, bringing some new people to finally stand up and say, listen, we're not doing this no more.
But it takes people wanting to stand up, and that's the problem.
Yeah, because nobody wants to come off their money. Nobody wants to come off their money, and that's what it comes down to.
Hold on, Grant has something to say.
The funny thing is, too, is that the CEOs of these companies they're going after are the same people that are influencing and dictating what is currently happening now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Grant was just saying, it's just an interesting point. Yes, a lot of the leaders, the CEOs of these companies are actually, they're dictating what's happening over here with this whole COVID.
Yeah, of course.
Novid nonsense.
Of course, you know, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's dollars. Dollars
and
make
cents,
sense.
man. Yeah,
right?
dollars make sense.
And if you have enough of it, you can go ahead and swing. That's why, of course, a long time ago, especially over here with our economics within our community, it doesn't make sense for us to go ahead and back our politicians, especially when our dollars don't make any sense. Right? We can have all the politicians in power that we want, but until our money gets right, look what happened to Obama. Obama was the highest office. Yes, very proud of the black man, even though, of course, he's still one of them. You know, but at the same time, look where our dollars were. Our dollars were in the trash because, again, right, we don't value our dollar enough to go ahead and spread it around ourselves. So until our dollar, our sense of worth changes, things are just going to continue to happen.
Very well said. Thanks, Dave. When we come back, you have more to say.
Yeah, Bill Gates and Boris Johnson, the man who looks like he's always have a bad hair day. This man just wakes up and puts on a suit and just leaves his house, man. Every day. Every time you see this guy.
Dave's coming at y'all. We'll see you soon on A Better Tomorrow. Oh, God, wow. Dave. You seem angry.
It's an offense, actually, under the Provincial Offences Act, to be asking people for proof of their medical condition. As of 4 days ago, under Section 2, Sub 4, Sub 6 of Regulation 364-20, the Ontario government has made it clear under subsection 6 of subsection 4 of section 2 that no one is entitled to demand any evidence as to a person's medical condition or exemption. In order to operate any business, a store owner must obtain and be approved through license by the municipality or the province, depending on the kind of business. Once you are granted a license, the granting of the license presumes and assumes, and you undertake, that where you offer services and goods to the public, you must abide by municipal and provincial laws. So once you get your license, you have to abide by the masking bylaws and the masking ordinance that was just put out by the provincial government. And you can't ignore the second half of the ordinance that recognizes exemptions. And so you don't have the right to create your own fiefdom that's only operating by government license. You're subject to the laws and the Human Rights Code. If you have trouble putting on, wearing, or breathing with a mask, you have an exemption. That exemption doesn't have to be physically medical, it could be psychological as well. That exemption even includes any and all grounds under the law, under the Human Rights Code. So let's say you have a religious objection to the mask. There are many religions and creeds that when they face people have to show their face. They cannot be They can't have face coverage. But at the end of the day, too, the Supreme Court of Canada has said that you cannot quiz or question a person about the minutiae or details of their religious beliefs either. What this law says, basically, is you have to take our fellow citizens at their word that they're exempt. Pure and simple. Because to do otherwise breaches their human rights under the Code and their constitutional rights under the Charter.
We're very much hoping that two things will start to come to our aid. Number one, the mass testing, the kind I just described, the rapid turnaround testing, and then the other thing is now the prospect, the realistic prospect of a vaccine. So you have a kind of, as it were, two boxing gloves to pummel the disease in the weeks and months that follow. But I've got to stress that we're not out of the woods yet. It does still require everybody to follow the guidance, do the right thing to suppress the disease in the way that we all understand. I've got no inhibitions about getting a vaccine, and I totally encourage everybody who is eligible for a vaccine, the people who are most vulnerable. Of course, everybody should get a vaccine. Certainly I would say to everybody, anti-vax is total nonsense. You should definitely get a vaccine.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yes.
The vaccine is ready for administration. Everywhere, apparently. So let's start in the UK.
Yes. So Boris Johnson, he's meeting with Bill Gates to go ahead and actually discuss.
What a surprise.
The global vaccine program.
What a surprise.
All right. So as we all know, the UK is under, what's happening over there is really tragic in regards to, of course, the new lockdown measures. However, though, as you mentioned at the top of the segment, that he is looking to go ahead and use his presidency within the G7 to go ahead and implement something which is slowly looking very dastardly. So Johnson met with Gates along with CEOs of 10 of the world's biggest pharmaceutical companies, right, to foment plans to roll out vaccinations for the coronavirus. Every CEO agreed to commit to providing fair access across the globe to the vaccine when it's ready. The plan was unveiled by Gates at the UN in September, where he called for overhauling Big Pharma's capacity to manufacture vaccines and treatments. Johnson hailed the effort as a new era of collaboration for problem solving and pandemic preparedness, adding that it will be a truly global endeavor. The Prime Minister said that the world leaders should have heeded Gates' warnings years ago and must now work with his foundation to prevent something like this ever happening again.
COVID-19, by the way, when he says this, that's what he means.
Wait till COVID 20 and 21.
21 and 22.
Jeez.
Okay.
Right. Gates noted that the world needs a comprehensive strategy, a coherent approach to financing and manufacturing billions of doses of vaccines, tests, and drugs, and a network to monitor new threats. The British government is preparing to roll out the coronavirus vaccine on a level never seen before, drafting in the army to man vaccination centers at arenas, sports halls, and shopping malls, and anywhere else they can go ahead and actually get their hands on. It has been described as the biggest logistical effort since the Second World War. Gates has previously declared that the world won't return to normal until a lot of people take a second super effective coronavirus vaccine that could be years away.
Won't go back to normal. That phrase right there, I think, is the clincher in everything that they're doing. And that's what they're taking everything away from us because they want us to be like, you know how many times I've heard that in sentences from people's mouths? I'm just dying for it to get back to normal. Well, here's the vaccine.
Yeah, it's just, and as you mentioned before, what happens, of course, in other parts of the world are being used as test centers. So by means, it's going to be seen here.
It's coming, guys.
Right. Of course, Trudeau has announced, working with Pfizer and a bunch of other pharmaceutical companies. They've already secured X amount of million doses already. I'm not sure, I guess, I've heard the claims regarding Pfizer being 90%.
Pfizer just dumped 60% of their stock, by the way.
And again, if you follow the money, if they're dumping money, it just...
Something's going on.
Yes, very much. They're ramping up for something. Sooner or later, you're going to hear another CEO step down. It's they're playing with our lives. And more of us need to actually be not just aware.
Speak. Open your mouths. Stand up.
Right. We elect these officials. Remember, we put these people in power. Right, so they can go ahead and do what we need them to do, and not the other way around.
Yeah, we are their power. Without us, they don't have anything. So we need to start really taking that into consideration, guys. All right, I'll let you finish that, then I'll jump into where else it's going.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so the state bar just recently passed a mandatory COVID-19 recommendation for this is for New York City. Okay, New York State. Sorry, thank you. The New York State Bar Association is calling for the state government to at least consider making a COVID-19 vaccine mandatory once it's available, if medical experts agree that it's the best route to getting the pandemic under control. So now they want to make this law. Okay? The state's bar's House of Delegates approved the resolution Saturday, just before Monday's announcement from drug maker, you know who, Pfizer, and biotech firm BioNTech, SE.
Oh boy, these guys are crooks.
That their vaccine proved to be more than 90% effective in its latest trials. Pfizer said it planned to submit a request for federal emergency health authorization soon to begin the path towards mass distribution. The state bar resolution follows NYSBA's creation of a task force addressing unique legal and ethical questions raised by COVID-19. The body delivered a final report including recommendations on how to further ease challenges posed by the health crisis in New York. It stipulates that a vaccine mandate would include exceptions for medical reasons and only be warranted in the event there is a scientific consensus that immunity levels aren't thwarting COVID-19 spread and reducing mortality rates.
They're going to throw those out the window.
Yeah, that's going, but they're staying it now. It's also said that any mandate must come after reasonable efforts to promote public acceptance of a vaccine, assessment of the virus threat in certain communities, and an agreement from medical experts about the safety and efficacy of the drug. Why are they lying though? Because this is the thing. Anytime someone medical comes out and says, you guys say no, censored. So which medical experts are they turning to? Oh, they're medical experts. That's right. Forgot about those. Okay, so the language in the resolution is in a less authoritative stance now. Okay. In May, they were calling for all New Yorkers, except those exempted by the doctor, to be required to take a vaccine once a safe and viable one was available. So in its revised September, so from May to September, there's been some changes. The task force said that mandatory vaccinations are supported by the authority of the state police power when the vaccinations are necessary. Did you hear that? Are you guys hearing what's happening here? State police power. What does that mean in simple terms?
Jeez.
Guys, it's coming, eh? Like, it's happening right next door.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Yes, girl. We'll be seeing how many yes girls are going to be happening in a couple years. We'll see. It also cited cases where religious freedom and due process challenge have failed. So they made reference to the measles outbreak in New York and other regions in the U.S. in 2019, which approved legislation eliminating religious exemptions. Like, do you hear what's happening? Do you hear the rollout? So they're starting to cut back on all exemptions. They don't even care what God you serve now. They're like, yeah, well, too bad about your God and your religion.
It doesn't make Canada seem so corrupt and bad, and after all, right? Considering that there's still those multicultural diversity, nuances still in place for now.
We'll see how long that lasts for. So in addition to its recommendation on considering vaccine mandates, the State Bar urged government officials to ensure that more vulnerable populations are treated ethically and without discrimination, and to release older prisoners and those with disabilities and serious illnesses who do not pose a danger to the communities. What are you talking about, bro? Like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Oh, wow.
So when they say ensure more vulnerable communities, who do you think they're talking about?
We already know what's happening.
Guys,
we've been a target.
Melinda Gates said it first. Black people. Get it first, okay? Yes, Grant. Grant has something to say. Yes, sir.
Ticketmaster is now proposing that they're going to implement a thing where you have to prove a vaccine pass, COVID pass, or immunity.
To go into any concerts. Yeah, I read that. So Ticketmaster, Grant, and it's true, I did read this. You're going to have to prove that you have the vaccine to even go to a concert. What else is it going to be? That's just one thing. That's, again, just, guys, taking our freedoms bit by bit, and no one's saying anything. Okay, so, again, while all this was happening, this was all happening while y'all were watching the election. Biden was just, like, moonwalking in there with his new world order. Like, guys, I don't understand.
Telling you ain't black if you ain't voting for him.
If you ain't black. I was like, did he say that?
He did. And now that he's in, we started dancing in the streets.
We started dancing. Everyone's like, Biden, why? I'm seeing Biden and Kamala up on people's WhatsApp page and stuff. I'm like, really?
Yeah, all full-fledged parades and stuff like that. With no masks.
With no
social distancing whatsoever.
And was there any problems? Were there any riot trucks or police there? Everything was fine, right?
Nothing whatsoever.
Interesting.
Right. And now that because of course Trump is exercising his legal rights, all democracy is being thrown in an uproar. It's in chaos. I don't know, man. We're just caught in like one large puppy show, and it's just horrible, man.
It's a puppy show.
That's all it is, man. It's just horrible.
So when we come back, our people in the Caribbean, they don't give a damn about they're just trying to keep their roads. So lots of flooding.
Yeah, it's the season, man.
Yeah, and it's El Niño this year, which is bringing in a lot of rain and cool and snow for us.
Yeah, we got the heat wave from El Niño. That's what happens, man. And
Trinidad and Tobago, that's Dominican, Jamaica, all flooded out. And then our last story is kind of a cool one. You found this one. UPS, this is an interesting move, calls off the ban on beards and natural black hairstyles. Jesus. So I can go work for them now. We'll see you guys soon on A Better Tomorrow. Oh, Lord. So that's interesting because the islands right now are dealing with a lot. They're dealing with not only this pandemic, they're dealing with Mother Earth.
Nature.
You know? Nature's happening. So in its latest Caribbean Climate Outlook newsletter on Tuesday, Karakoff said that for the period November to January 2021, high flooding like that, flash floods, landslides, rockfalls, and soil erosion would probably continue until December across Belize and the Caribbean islands. So heavy rains drenched the Caribbean island of Hispaniola, and they've had mudslides and floods that have killed up to 9 people in Haiti and forced more than 11,000 people to flee their homes in the neighboring Dominican Republic. Okay? High water and heavy rain are creating problems for the nearly 500,000 people still without homes in the aftermath of Haiti's 2010. So Haiti got hit again. Guy, that island, I don't understand, but Dominican got hit this time. Usually they don't. Usually an earthquake happens and stops right at the political line.
But if you notice, if you're tracking the cases, Dominican Republic has more cases than Haiti.
Really?
Yeah.
Of earthquakes?
No, not earthquakes, but coronavirus cases.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Emergency official spokesman Jose Luis German said nearly 3,000 homes were flooded when rivers and streams spilled from their banks in the northern province of Puerto Plata, and some central and southeastern towns. He said 23 of the country's 32 provinces in Dominican were at risk for flooding and are at risk for flooding in the upcoming days, since rains were forecast to continue for the rest of the week. I actually got a call from one of my friends, Agar in Martinique. Her Sprouting Young Minds flooded.
Oh, sad to hear.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They got a lot of rain, and they've been getting a lot of rain. So in Jamaica, which is where that video was from, the Meteorological Service of Meteorological.
Yes.
I said it right the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yesterday evening issued a flash flood watch for low-lying and flood-prone areas of St. Anne's, St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew, as well as St. Catherine, until 5 o'clock. And that was yesterday that they said that. The Met Office also advised residents living in flood-prone areas to take precautionary measures and be ready for quick action if flooding is observed. So Jamaica is getting hit hard. They lost the whole road. Terrible. In St. Martin, an unexpected cloud burst late Saturday night and into early Sunday morning and caused havoc on the island's roads. Several roads and flood-prone areas were rendered inaccessible, forcing road closures at strategic locations to safeguard public safety. And finally, Trinidad and Tobago. So several districts in Tobago were affected by flooding and minor landslides, following persistent and sometimes heavy rainfall in Tobago from Wednesday right into Thursday. So by yesterday, the Tobago Emergency Management Agency had recorded a total of 25 reports of adverse incidents resulting from the inclement weather patterns. And while there are no injuries reported, he said that a family at Lowlands in Tobago's West End voluntarily evacuated their home as a precautionary measure as floodwaters were rising in that area. So it's a good thing there's no deaths or loss there, which is good, but some of the other islands are suffering pretty bad.
I feel bad for the farmers, the agricultural sector. It's going to be very challenging from here on in.
So it's been a tough year, man.
I hope that the governments go ahead and open up their coffers to go ahead and actually assist the agricultural sector. CARICOM, if they're still going after their reparations by means, I think more than now, especially since that they're looking for these large sums of money for infrastructure, right? And especially in the agricultural sectors, right? So,
we'll see what happens. All right, so what's going on with UPS?
Wow. 47 million of us in the States with the spending power of a little over $1 trillion, and we still get being subjected to these types of behavior. UPS calls a ban on beards calls off a ban on beards and natural black hairstyles. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. It's just horrible. Once again, I mean, for the fact that, again, for us to have such a spending power out there, right, and still be subjected to, to this type of behavior where, they can actually say that, no, we don't want this from our employees who work for us.
You are not allowed to wear your hair the way it grows out its head. I don't even know how you can impose that. And again, so they've been stripping rights from us for years. Mind you, this is nothing new, but just to think about that.
Oh,
someone telling you can't wear your hair the way that it grows out of your head. You're not allowed to, or on your face.
So UPS is lifting most of its long-standing rules on its employees' personal appearance, especially those who frequently interact with public, like delivery drivers. Based on the new changes, the strict limits on facial hair, hairstyles, and how long men can keep their hair have been lifted. Initially, most employees weren't allowed to have beards, and the mustache were limited to above the crease of the lip. Moreover, men couldn't wear their hair longer than their collar length, and hairstyles like afros or braids were simply just not allowed.
So then how am I supposed to wear my hair?
Oh, jeez. Oh, what? Man.
Okay.
Again, I mean...
I don't understand.
I get, in regards to, there's so many of us out there who need the little work.
I get it.
Right? And have to go ahead and have to conform.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Anyways, the shipping company also lifted gender-specific regulations such as length of the uniform's shorts. The new rules have been posted on the company's internal website. The changes reflect our values and desire to have all UPS employees feel comfortable, genuine, and authentic. Yes, propaganda at its best. Our CEO, Carol Tomei, listened to feedback from employees and heard that changes in this area would make them likely to recommend UPS as an employer.
There it is. They want ratings. So.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I guess they would, considering that everybody's buying online. I guess UPS has been a proud shipper of Amazon for a long time.
And they need more workers.
Yes, they are. They're definitely going to need them.
So wow.
Just a bunch of bullshit, man.
Blah and blah, blah, blah. So now you can wear your hair the way it grows out your head, guys.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure exactly what cost this so-called fair victory is.
Is this a victory?
I mean, on paper it is, I guess, right? I guess our brothers and sisters out over there who actually, have been subjected to this, I guess they can feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that, hey, I don't have to actually, cut my hair and take a piss test at the same time, right? So, I don't know, man.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Oh, before we do conclude, yes. I want to send a rest in peace to the former Ghanaian president, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings.
That's right. That was one of the stories, but we didn't have time.
Yeah, definitely. For those out there who have not heard of J.J. Rawlings, please go ahead and look him up.
Research him.
Yeah,
he
wonderful.
Was serious.
Very, very fiery.
Serious man.
Definitely. I guess his passing is untimely. The cause of the passing as well has been unknown. However, though, they said that he started to feel sick after the funeral of his mother, who was 101 at the time of her passing.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, and he checked himself in the hospital, and now he's gone. All right, so by means, all Ghanaians, all Africans, all Pan-Africans, we feel your plight. We definitely feel your pain. Pamoja tutashinda.
All of that. We'll see you guys next week on A Better Tomorrow. Have a great weekend, guys. Peace and love.